Hello. If you're wondering why I start my videos with my hand off to the side, it could be the new modern informal way of greeting, I guess. I haven't got any weapons. It could just be I haven't got a remote control for my recording device. Probably more likely that one. Look, slightly long lead in. I'll keep it down to 4 minutes or less. Normally I would just jump straight to the video. The majority of the times I would jump straight to the video. Sometimes if there's something to talk about, I'll have a brief chat. Look, probably if you're a console user on a particular platform, it's probably a good time to be considering your headwear. I do believe that next week, might be later this week, there's a new official over-ear headset coming out. I think it's called the Elite. It's using technology from a recent hardware acquisition by a company called Audize. They've, for quite a few years now, been making really good headphones. I believe these were called the Mobius. They've moved this design forward. This one had a little bit of difference over the Maxwell and what will now become the Elite. This could also track your head. And so if you hooked it up to a PC, you could actually set it up so that if you tilted your head, like as if you were looking around a corner, you'd actually pop your head around the corner in a modern shooter game, if you set the keybinds up. But quite an amazing set of headwear, probably one of the best immersive 3D experiences I've ever had. And that's as someone that plays a lot of head amps, a lot of DACs, has played with the venerable Sennheiser HD 800S, considered to have one of the better sound stages. And I've had them paired up with the HDVD 800 amp, which actually brought the sound field back to being a circle. Bit of a trick doing headphone surround. It's not such an easy game. Everyone's trying to figure out, oh, do I turn this mode on? Do I turn that 7.1 mode on? Do I do that? Do I do that? You don't do any of that. What you need is a flat line headphone. You don't want a headphone that exaggerates certain parts of the sound spectrum. Maybe if that matches your ears and brings back your sense of flatline, but the reason you need what's considered flatline sound, that is no emphasis, arguably anywhere between your 20 hertz up to your 20 kilohertz in your frequency response, is that when the sound device, like is built into the console hardware, when you use its headphone renderer, it does some very clever math. Okay, now that math is based on the physiognomy of your ear. Your ear, this pinnae, this little bit of skin up at the back of the ear, does the job of stopping high frequency information, treble, coming from the rear. Doesn't sound as clear as treble coming from in front of us, just due to the way our ears are naturally built. And that is how humans, with only 2 point sources of information, are able to pick up surround sound, right? So math, as of 25 years ago, started to figure out, oh look, if we just alter these high frequencies a little bit, we can simulate to the person's head that something has in fact moved from in front of them around to behind them. Now that is true. It is true you can get a really good sense of headphone surround whenever you can track that sense of audio. If an audio sample is introduced to you, well, it's become longer than a 4-minute intro, I've still got more to say. If an audio sample is introduced to you from behind us, and we have no concept of how it sounds, missing a little bit of treble information, sometimes it takes an on-screen reference for our head to link up, oh okay, that's that sound coming from that, and then we can kind of piece it all together. The point of my rant and rave is that in order to do headphone surround sound, you ideally want the most flatline headphones you can get, so that when the clever math is being done and it's changing the frequencies in a way to simulate where sound is coming from, it can do so believing that you've got a reference flatline system in place, right? Because then the amount it modifies those sounds by is all following what it needs to be doing in order to simulate proper surround sound. So the last thing you want to do is turn the surround sound mode on in all your devices, right? There are people out there that are hooked up to a PC and they turn the headphones surround on the motherboard, and their little DAC has a little headphone surround button, and their amp has some sort of a crossfeed, another button, and they turn on all the buttons, right? And that just leads to an echoey, confusing mess, right? And I'm not a fan of anyone that doesn't pay the Dolby headphone license. If you haven't got a good headphone renderer and you just want to cheap out as a company and claim on the box that you've got great headphone surround and that you can amplify the frequency around where the footsteps are so that you've got an advantage in first-person shooting games, that's fine. But I would argue that you're a toy. Now, if you get a proper set of headphones, right, with no headphone encoding, that'll get you most of the way there. But if you get a proper set of headphones with headphone encoding for surround sound, you've got to set up nearly as good as a really good surround sound setup. And it's hard to beat a good surround sound setup for positional accuracy, for knowing exactly where things are in a room, actual speakers in the respective spots, and then the ability to pan sounds anywhere in between them or position them anywhere in the room is fantastic. It is an advantage. Now that's actually why I come into this video talking a little bit about sound. I find in the game I'm playing it too much of a disadvantage if I don't know when things are behind me, right? So what I find is if I'm putting some headwear on and using the included headphone renderer, so I get surround sound through 2 speakers, headphones, I can tell when something's behind me. And so yesterday I was playing the game, and because I was trying to record, I had the sound coming through my speakers, which meant when I was playing I had to keep kind of facing one direction in my room in order to get the sound to match up with what I was seeing. But I lost a lot of the sense of when things were behind me. And so I did find in the game I was a bit of a nervous Nell. I was constantly turning around going, oh, is there anything sneaking up on me? Don't want that, right? And I play Returnal a fair bit. I like, arguably it's an offline, you're competitive against yourself. You're trying to do better than your last run. So you are playing the game quite seriously when you play it. And any advantage in terms of knowing where something is behind me is fantastic. Now with a good headphone renderer and a good set of headphones, you also get height information. And I know this is particularly pertinent to Returnal because of the speed of it being a first-person shooter, but I know if something's behind me and up, and roughly how up it is, so that when I'm turning around I've already got my cursor basically in the zone where I'm going to be shooting for. And this is coming from many decades of PC headphone gaming or surround sound gaming, and the advantage of audio positioning and audio cues in terms of understanding where you're about to shoot. And so if I had to choose between a 120 hertz monitor or a high-speed monitor and just stereo speakers, or a lesser monitor and surround sound, I'd probably choose the lesser monitor with surround sound. It's more immersive. And as someone who's been doing that since I was 16, little 34cm telly in the world's best surround sound system, and Terminator 2, and still having, the boot come down through the skull and the immersive subwoofer kick in your guts. But the sense of surround sound I've always found in movies and games really helps, A, the immersion, but B, if positional cues is at all important to getting the audio right, matters. So let's get back onto Audeze. Very famous for making a technology driver type. Please bear with me. I feel like I've got someone knocking on my door. I'll just come straight back. Fantastic. Anyone else would stop the video and edit it, put it together, and just whatever. But look, this is a really basic video clip. If I was doing edits, I would talk about how the magic is eye tracking based, and I'd have little clips of that. I'd be talking about some of the wonderful in-game stuff prior to the game, with clips showing those sorts of things in action. But look, let's just wind up a rant. This is everything you need to know about audio, arguably. The short, I need to learn it in a couple of minutes. So Audeze have been making planar driver headphones for quite a while. I've had a couple of Audeze planars and some of the competitors by Hi-Fi Man and whatnot. I must admit, I'm not a fan of the planar headphone technology. It could be based on my age. I grew up with dynamic drivers. I like the high dynamic range, the dynamics in audio that you get from the old school dynamic drivers that work using a particular technology. So when planars weren't doing it for me, I had to go right up the ladder to what's called high-end dynamic drivers in order to beat the sound that you typically get with planar drivers. To do that with dynamic drivers, you have to spend a fair bit of money. But there's aspects of different technology types that are beneficial. So what we'll pick up when these new Sony headphones come out later this week, next week, their bass frequency should be amazing. Their positional audio or panning should be better than what anyone at that price point has ever experienced. And to be fair, you're getting a real bargain, right? Like in the headphone world, to beat those for audio, if you're into classical music or orchestral or something that's quite hard to reproduce because it's got hundreds of instruments and you care about the positioning of them, they're the people who have to kind of spend arguably more money buying better DACs and better headphone amps, because being able to detect if the lead violin, the second violin and their locations, and if that matters to you, then you've got a different requirement from your audio equipment than other people. And in fact, because I'm into gaming, I've given up. Some DAC chips just oversample out an Echo, ESS in particular. We've got just the way they oversample. It's the chord, the Hugos and whatnot that tap filters, and the way that they put things together, you actually lose the littlest amount of positional accuracy because it kind of just homogenizes where sounds might be coming from. And so I've eschewed those. Anything by iFi as a company, they actually have a firmware that you can run which allows the DACs to pair up directly to the console hardware, the Switch and the PlayStation 5. They use 20-year-old Burr Brown decoder chips, which are a proper DAC chip. The circuit they design is actually really, really well refined. They get a lot more out of the chips than you could get out of the chips arguably 20 years ago. They've really perfected them. The fact that they've got a firmware that just works with the console kind of matters. You can use an upgraded DAC. Why would you want to? Okay, well, there is times, right? So most people are going to go wireless, right? That's a benefit. If you go wireless, you're playing with Bluetooth, or if you move on to the new lossless wireless that sort of is launching at the moment, that pairs up the PlayStation Portable, the PS Go, whatever they're calling it, and the console, and your PC if you put the dongle in it. It's got more bandwidth, sure, it's lossless, you'll be able to do more with it. It'll make those headphones work, fantastic. It's potentially the way to go. For myself, and whenever I've been doing headphone surround, I find that I use a bunch of external DACs and big headphone amps, but that's because I'm into head-fi anyway. So that's where I've learned which headphones work well with the VR console, which DACs do a good job. I mean, as someone who's had a topping D90 and found it the junkiest DAC I've ever owned, just about, certainly of all the modern DACs built in the last 10 years, it's got all the bells and whistles. By the spec sheet, it looks very impressive, but I found it actually had no depth information. It flattened all the sounds across the front of the stage, and because it lacked a sense of room, it was useless. As a gaming DAC, it's a spec sheet DAC, right? Topping as a company just made for the little white spec sheet, and they've got friends over at Audio Science Review that'll measure them really well, and magically everything else will measure really badly, because they always choose the worst input and the worst this, and then pretend that, I didn't know what I was doing, and the manufacturer, I shouldn't have to change the way I do my tests, although you change the way you do your tests on a per test basis to get the results that you're after. Anyway, not a fan of was it science? Lies and statistics. When you use intentionally statistics and number representation to misrepresent products intentionally, that's a lie, no matter how you look at it. And there are web pages that are doing really well by doing that. So people probably get really angry with me there, and I was like, no man, I've been watching those web pages for decades, right? Like, I've been doing sales for more than just a few decades, and I know when someone's lying, right? You can tell the pitch of their voice goes up, and there's all sorts of stuff, right? Some people out there are just snake oil salespeople, and they pretend that everybody else is, right? That's a good rouse, isn't it? Good ruse. Anyway, I've got three different trains of thoughts going here, and we are talking about head-fi very briefly. It's now become a very long lead-in. Most people will just skip this. It's not a problem. Probably should just start again, but it's not my style. Raw, right? You get to CB, you get to PB, hi. Okay, so let's wind up a couple of these threads. So if you're going to go wireless, you're going to be playing with Bluetooth. If you're going to be doing that, the new lossless format to planar magnetic headphones is just amazing. The new Sony headset, for the small amount of money that goes into it, you would have to spend 10 times as much money to appreciably get a better headset, you know, with better DAC, better amp, you know, better drivers that are more revealing. You can do the analog path. You can get yourself some Sennheiser HD 600s, 650s or something and get the separate headphone amp. And if you really like, you know, vocals and listening to actual music, buying from an audio company is worth doing. They do voice better. If you're gonna buy a camera, buy from a camera company. You know, if you're gonna buy from a company that's been doing it, trust me, they don't just compete on spec sheets. Usually it's the opposite, and they just do it right. Okay, so look, if you're gonna go wireless, the new Pulse, fantastic. If you're gonna go wired, right? So let's talk about that a little bit. My setup's a bit unique. Suppose I can point the camera around at it a little bit. If I do this, block that off, maybe it just. Okay. Oh no, it doesn't show it there. Okay, so on my desk in front of me, I'm using several devices. So I'm using an old Cambridge DAC Magic because you can feed USB into it. It's an old form of USB. It's called UAC1, so it works with the console. And from that, I can feed digital out. So actually, from a Cambridge DAC Magic, which is a DAC and a headphone amp by itself, I don't use it that way. I use it as a little split box. And so from that, I've then got two digital feeds, one feeding to my DAC, which I'm going to be feeding through the speakers, which is how we record the sound for this video. And then I've got another feed going to a little FIO BTA30. Now, if I can get my headset to actually look around the room and show it, I'll just point off camera what it is. It's a tiny little box, bit of a MacGyver, a little pocket knife. It can do absolutely everything. There is a BTA30 Pro, that's a Bravo Tango Alpha, BTA30. There's a Pro version which does a little bit more with LDAC, has some switches on the front. It's probably worth the extra money. Because I'm feeding into this BTA30 using coax or Toslink, I can actually output LDAC. It can do all sorts of Bluetooth stuff, but I'm actually just feeding into some Sennheiser IE80s. You pick these up 75% off, about $200. They're an $800 set of earbuds in the local currency. They're actually worth more than the headset. They're worth more than the console. Probably not worth more, but they cost more for retail. 75% off. Addicted to Audio sells them at that price. Sennheiser, when they were clearing them off a couple of years ago, was selling them at that price. I bought a few sets, headed off to friends. They are flagship reference in-ear monitors, right? They are a single dynamic driver, but the units that came after them jumped up in price from $800 to $1,600 and $2,600. With a little bit of sound tuning in the cavity to change the sound a little bit. There's a little switch on the back where you can actually open up a hole which changes the bass in them. But they're the sound stage, even though they are Bluetooth, they're proper Bluetooth, so headband design, they're using an AKM DAC chip, they've got just the quality of the clock, the quality of all the chips and bits in them, they're a better, I would actually take these over Bluetooth, and I'm talking here SBC, sound sub-band codec, the most basic form of Bluetooth you can get. These sound great, right? A lot better than a lot of wired headphones out there. I would take these as a wireless headphone quite happily. I like the fact that they're a neckband design so that the receivers and whatnot are away from my head. I can just put these up. Of course you can double them up for phone calls and stuff, but I'm not here to sell the IE80s. They're just, for the money that's on them, they're better than every other in-ear Bluetooth bud you can get on the market. And the fact that they're wired and just have one receiver chip and a fairly long battery life, but again using a traditional amplifier strategy, they're just a better, clearer, cleaner, very high-end. They were flagship Sennheiser buds. The sound field that they create is perfect. I would say they're missing a little bit of high frequency versus my replacements. My replacements are some Astel and Kern 01s. They're a 4-driver affair with a planar for super high frequencies, 2 balanced armatures for the mid-range, and a traditional dynamic driver for bass slam. Obviously, and again, built for studio, they need about 800 hours before they sound their best. That planar driver up the top takes a long time to break in, but when it does, it really opens up the sense of sound field or space. Astel and Kern AK 01. You can also get them on sale. I think they're one of the best reference earbuds you're going to use. Fantastic, but just for wireless ease, I've got the IE80s ready to go, and I've got my little Bluetooth sender in low latency mode, so aptX LL. These have a dedicated aptX low latency chip, not the later aptX hybrid, which as low latency wasn't quite as low latency. It was like 40 milliseconds, not 20 or something. But the aptX low latency, and again I could send the transmit box to aptX low latency, so that's the BTA30. So the combination of Bluetooth low latency is actually perfect. I played around quite a lot yesterday, really appreciated the more immersive in my face. Okay, so why am I playing with wireless earbuds? Okay, I have been trying cable. So these are some beautiful Audio Technicas, currently still wired to my headset, so let's unplug them now. Beautiful Audio Technicas, the ADG, DX1 or something, a few years old now. They've got replacements. Audio Technica, probably if you go to your mass market shop, these are one of the few brands that will be in amongst the gaming headphones that are actually worth buying. Not your Astro 50s and all that shit. They're all just junk fi. All those gaming headphone brands, junk fi, absolute junk fi. If you're going to buy audio, buy from a reputed brand. Audio Technica are absolutely fantastic. You will find these in your gaming section. The actual microphone on them is probably worth the price point alone. Very good quality wired microphone. But these are fantastic. Now, I tried these directly off the headset yesterday. As someone who uses DACs and headphone amps, I found it very bright. It was okay. I would continue to do it if I needed to, but yeah, it wasn't the best. But I do like the big over-ear headphones. So I run a lot of them with really long cables, and I run them off dedicated headphone amps, and I find they all stabilise the headwear. So if you're putting your headset on, and it's a little bit, just moves a little bit over time and the text becomes blurry, arrange your headphones that really lock it down. Starting with the Odysseys, right? I found that these, you can stretch them out. You can actually bend these any which way you want. The cups are replaceable, so if you are squeezing the top of your cup, trying to get it in under your headset, you could, if it's got squished down over time, you could technically replace it. A few other headphones that do really well. Sony MDR Z7s, big over ears. They actually have enough flex to go, again, over the headwear. They stabilise the headset that's on your head. Any of the AKG family, so that's the K600 series, K700 series, that use this familiar top design. You might find K271s, I don't know if they do. But fantastic. This is the K612 Pros. They have a very long cable built in. I must admit I'd probably prefer a removable cable if I was going down that path. But I guess what I'm trying to say is there's a lot of big over-ear headphones you can run. Some of them work okay off the little inline, the headphone socket at the back of your headwear. Otherwise, you can just put an inline portable amp. So whether you use something like an Alpha Diablo or a Black Label or even down to a little FIO Q5, tiny little thing about the size of credit cards, you put that in your back pocket. You could run the cable straight from your headwear down into your little headphone amp. This is a Sony PHA3, pretty heavy this one. And then you would feed from your headphone amp using the headphone cable up to your headphones, right? So then you're using, arguably, an in-line or an in-pocket amplifier to improve the sound. You don't just add an amplifier for more volume. Ideally, it changes the sound field to give it the best it can give. It just gives everything that clarity, that pristineness, and pinpoint precision, and just air around things. Yeah, I've never bought a good amp for more volume, right? So food for thought. Some people think amps are just for making things louder. I've never bought an amp to go louder. Maybe when I was 16, but never since. So look, long lead in. I'll see if I can get that headwear pointing at just a couple of bits and pieces. I do say thank you. I did want to talk a little bit about audio because certainly Legendary Tales uses it really well. It is a large part of our gaming immersion. As I have said, I would take a good sound field and a smaller screen than just having the biggest screen and just TV speakers or something. Audio matters, I believe. Anyway, long lead in. Okay, so with any luck, I've got my little Bluetooth here. They will be turned on. Oh, they're back to front. They do actually have a colour on them, so red for right, typical thing. Okay, so saying power on. So in a moment, I will have that. I won't put them in until I've made sure that we've got sound through the speakers as well. I'll turn that down to about there. Change the input to there. Right, that should be everything. So put on my headset. Right. Da-dunk. It's probably wanting me to hit buttons in my controllers. Ah, that's fair. Let me go get my controllers. I do say thank you for anyone that has stuck with me through this intro. You could have easily fast forwarded through it. A lot of this stuff people probably know anyway. Obviously I've got some really important mail from housemate Land while we're doing this video. So if you haven't got your audio sorted and you were happy to chat about audio for a bit, I am thankful for the time you've just given me. Alright, so what have we got going? We've got probably not. Okay, that will probably get me up and running. Ah, of course. Right, so quick couple of things. Apologies there. Oh, there's my hotspot. One hotspot, fair enough. Okay, so anyone that's interested, Dyson fan off to the side, blows air across the space, gives me a sense of where I'm at on the field. That there is a BTA 30. No, you can't see it. I didn't realise it's not up on the screen. Apologies. Okay, so there's my lighting. Here's my game. Ah, okay, so now you can see. Right, okay, so the BTA 30 is that little thing over there. It's a little antenna off to the side. That's the size of a pack of cards. Alright. Okay, let's reset my view. Looks pretty good. Okay, so just super briefly, I can see that the recording level looks to be alright through the speakers. I'll put my little earbuds in. So if I start talking louder, that's a good thing. I'd like to think. Alright, and so now because I'm actually using earbuds, it's probably worth turning on. Ah, it turned it on. Okay, well they now remember your settings per DAC and audio device. That's great. The combat never gets tiring. It's a bloody good game. And I didn't find the combat in Skyrim very exciting at all. There was one vampire fight. Oh, okay, this one throws. And hurts. There's no way in the world I'm going to finish this fight. Holy moly! Did I just die? Where'd he go? Oh my lord. Okay, to quote, was it Monty Python? Run away, run away! I'll be brave Sir Robin. Well, that's awesome. Whew. Okay, so health bar there got nice and low. Let's just put some stuff away. Get that health bar back. Ah! All that talking and leading. And, not a lot of combat, not a lot of gameplay. It's an amazing world, it really is. Okay, so one of the things that people might not be noticing about this game that is just amazing is the ability to look at that. That was when holding a weapon, being able to grip it the other way. So being able to throw a weapon up in the air and catch it. Right? Someone that played Pterodactyl Challenge and was probably at 15 frames a second in VR back in the day. To have such a frame rate going on that you can predict and catch something in the air that you've just flipped up with physics and caught. I mean, like catching a piece of paper between your fingers that you drop from a height. You can train your brain to just be quicker and quicker and quicker, and eventually you'll get it. But yeah, it didn't take much brain retraining for me to be able to throw a weapon up in the air and catch it and change my grip on its sheath or its handle. So yeah, I don't know if people recognise how far we've come in a small amount of time, but this software is amazing, and not just a little bit amazing. It is amazing. For anyone who played around with ray tracing on their PC, they know that the subtleties of light, lighting up surfaces is what it's all about. And the developers have really leaned into that. The way your blade shines to your left eye is different to the way your blade shines to your right eye. And so that sense combined gives you a real sense of your eyes seeing what they do in real life. Skyrim VR did the same thing. When you looked at the map screen, the sunlight that wasn't on screen would reflect in the river when you looked down at it. Looked pretty impressive, but what you quickly noticed, what was really nice about it, was the fact that if you closed off one eye and then looked at the other, where the sun reflected in the water was different to the other eye. And that was when you started to realise what these art teams can do with a sense of showing you what's off screen or just making something look really good. Right, brilliant. But yeah, the sense of immersion, the ability to... The frame rate being so strong that you can actually respond to things in combat in real time in a very meaningful way. And this isn't like die by the sword's promise of you'll have the freedom to move your weapon around in analog, you know, and parry. It's so natural. All the little fights I do, if I fight two little goblins, the actual energy required just to take out two little dudes and actually swing and miss and see an exposed bit of limb and take a swing at it, it's got everything that competing games to this just don't have, right? Like, so all the time I played Skyrim, I never liked the combat system. Never found it exciting or interesting to play with. Whereas now, being able to enjoy every single step in the virtual world as part of the journey is just cool. So I kind of just feel like I'm on a bit of a level up run right now. Typical, if you're going to go at single player and you want to get good, but you don't really want to get good, you just want to get the stronger characters. It's kind of what I'm doing. But at the same time I'm learning to swing my weapon better. And, I played around with magic a little bit, as I was saying in the intro to this video, that if you've been playing Synapse and you feel that being a wielding magic makes you feel badass and powerful, oh, so here you just want to kick it in the face. Yeah, so the magic in this game is just fantastic, and I kept trying to figure out why is it so accurate, and then I started to realise, it's firing where you're looking. just looks amazing. Actually, when I'm pivoting, I think it gives me a weapon swing sound. Okay, so this is the next zone. These are the much harder, much more damaging critters. Stick a bit of life here. We'll see if I've learnt their pattern enough to be able to take out a goblin without losing all my life. That's one of my better goblin fights. Where is he hiding? Is he? Okay, so the sense of shadows in this game. Alright, just about dead. So, no, got my portal, run back to town, looks amazing. Very quick load times means that I'm back at the campfire, healing up. Right, so if you can't see it at home, there we go, about every 2 seconds that goes up 1 health point. It is matched on the blue and the red bars in the back of your hand, so if you want to cast some spells, these ones, I think I'll take rid of that. Right, so once you charge them up, you just do a punch and hit your magic button at the same time. But it's just so accurate, like I can go light source, light source, light source, and I'll hit all 3. It's just amazing. Like, it's wherever you look, you get it. So, and just go light source, light source, light source, light source, light source, light source. Right, so what do we got? Okay, so I don't feel, I think I was firing both at the same target. It won't let me look at, oh, yep. Okay. Oh, it's quick. It looks at the frame after you let go of the button to figure out where the target is. But it's really good. Anyway, health bars are back, so running back through my portal. Okay, I've been waylaid. Let's go back this way. But I mean, these are the goblin caves. They're all around in here. Come back and run around the zone. The sense of scale, the world that they've built has some of the best role-playing told in it without telling it. Wow, there's no moire, no jaggies, no anything. With all those diagonal lines crisscrossing shows you that the world is running at super high resolution. And even if you're not looking at it directly, using foveating techniques, just how high res this world is. It's so impressive to play. As someone that played a lot of Skyrim VR and just came to realise that you're playing a very basic version of the game that missed out on all of the... It kind of feels like the non-enhanced ancient version of a game that looks like it could really do with a bit of mod packs and effort from the community. No doubt, all absolutely missing now, like will probably never happen due to recent kerfuffles with the... We'll update our software once every blue moon and break everything that was good about the software for you as a user. When we do that, we know how to destroy our communities. That's Bethesda. So yeah, playing a game that isn't broken, made by a loving team who want it to proliferate and do well. Probably Todd Howard back in Redguard type days, maybe around Morrowind time. When the market went sick with sequels like Dragon Age Origins 2. It was like, hey, let's spend many years making the perfect game. Let's make a crappy sequel inside of 5 minutes. And have people wonder why it's not as good. Some people love their products, continue to service their products even after they're made, and that is this game. It's just going to get better and better. And even if it doesn't, what we've got right now is probably the best, most fun on this platform a person could want. It really does have that sense of Dark Souls. So it's not likely that I'll do this entire cabin with the amount of hit points I've got left. Still quite a few monsters to kill. They seem to be scaling, possibly based on my level. I feel like there's more here than there was yesterday. Double that. Yeah, these graphics are amazing. Possible. We've got 3 more to go before I hit that door, maybe. Okay, you can just get jiggy with it. I didn't know. Oh yeah? Excellent. So now I can run up here and be told that this door needs at least a level 10 character to get access. Alright. I don't think it limits me though. It's interesting. Level 7. Nearly level 8. Nearly. I've got there's a trait I can take which ups my armor by 2 points. If I am carrying a shield, I kind of need that. Okay, my helmet needs level 9, so I'm still 2 levels away from being able to actually have some more armor class. So it's all. Oh, here's another one. Ah, really? I did not know. Right. I've got one. 2. Brilliant. Okay, so at this point actually I might just put them away, bring out the portal. There we go, right in front of the door. Come back to the campfire, get my life back. And I might try something brave, like actually exploring some new zone or something. Alright. Well, I'm thoroughly enjoying this. So I've got nice clean audio through here. I can only hope that I've mixed my level at the same level as normal, so that speaking as normal, I'm still being picked up. I've course this will be a test video. I guess it helps if I'm in the middle of my zone pointing towards the microphone, so that might help. But yeah, these graphics are amazing. So they've talked about modding in the game. They don't want to allow people to just build their own levels. There's a lot to making a 3D world like this run at 90 or 120 frames a second, and it comes down to clever level design. There's a lot in stereoscopic or 3D worlds that when you're having the user experience them, you want things in the short distance, middle distance, far distance as points of reference. You want the way the lighting is to guide people through a level. Certainly altitudinal changes you want them to be minimal. And then of course you've just got to count the number of triangles on screen at any given moment, or polygons, and just make it so that each little zone has a very finite number of them. There is a real lot to level design if you want to hit 120 or 90 frames a second. And I don't think they want to have users come up with levels or mods, areas they've added to the game that then drop the performance and make people feel nauseous, etc. You know, take away the fun. Wow, this is great. This is epic. Okay, so different people have different takes on the quality of the textures in the game. It's sort of like the difference between having a game like Kingdom Come Deliverance and The Witcher 3, where Kingdom Come Deliverance is a first-person game. It's quite possible, and I don't really want to do this, but I'm just going to put my head right up against the wall. Right? You can't do that in The Witcher. And so you can have the same quality textures in both games, but because The Witcher is a third-person game, you can't get as close to objects, and therefore the textures won't quite reveal their true resolution. So HDR, giant world, light streaming in, and actually the way it cuts through the air just feels so real. This is amazing. Oh wow, okay, so I get access here to my battery. Just move stuff over. Don't really want it. That. Yep. 3 to 5, just parry. Oh, that one's pretty good. But no, for now. Oh, we're out of space. So I wanted to start selling stuff up in town. I'm starting to get a bit full, arguably. Might be a good time to just lose some of that stuff. Make space. Okay. Oh, this is just amazing. So like when you got Waltz of the Wizard, and it makes you feel magical, but actually walking around a world that feels like a continuation of... Alright, I don't want to wreck the game for anyone else. There's the all-important. I think I've activated it. Maybe I activated by stepping over here. Right, so yeah, textures are more amazing on some characters, but I guess when I stepped in here I could see that the quality of the textures, for anyone who's played Skyrim VR, these textures that we're seeing in Legendary Tales are a massive step up. So to have a game of this level, as I was saying about the light streaming in and how you see it cutting through the dust in the level, might not realise that on a small screen or not in 3D. Okay, so my problem is clearing off a lot of these boards. They will certainly improve this through patches. They have an active team. Okay, cute. So I'm continuing the dialogue looking for the merchant that's been missing from town with the little green skinned fellow here. Who, because of my lack of level and lack of party, has volunteered to come with me on this journey. So yay! Really would like to activate this board. Yeah. Maybe there's a button up there and I finish the dungeon run up there and I can hit it before I can... Yeah, don't know. Alright, level 10, eh? Let's see... I'm still going to talk to the little green dude because he's not running around with me. Be a she, he or she. Tragistic haircut. Oh, no way at all. Sorry, mate. Sorry. Okay, good. No, I don't know. Maybe he'll just join. She, that they just join. Oh my lord, I'm playing a pronoun game with characters that don't even exist. What confusing times we live in. Alright, so safety and numbers for them. Okay, so individually those things aren't too much of a threat to me anymore. Probably don't want to go around opening up all the barrels in the game. I've got a real lack of inventory space. So I've been picking up a lot of treasure. I suppose I should be looking at it and comparing it against what I've got and if it's any good. Square baffler as butlers go. Oh, they're worth good coin. Alright. So I haven't done any micromanagement of inventory in the game yet. I haven't sold. Generally I've been hovering around 3,000 to 4,000 gold. I'm at 4,000 gold now. I do feel that I have died a couple of times. I probably want isn't any good. 6 worth 1,000. Now I'm going to guess my merchandise, my charisma, and my talent with haggling probably won't get me the prices I've seen in terms of the value of these goods. The light and the way it streams in is just terrific. battery is full. Yeehaw. Oh, this is just awesome. Is that a ladder? What the? Oh, wow. Again, the way the light cuts through these zones, the way the bodies in these zones light up, the light of them. Sense of scale. Oh, buddy, you're going over the edge. See ya. Okay, and then a giant ladder. Oh, see you friendly. Someone new. Another way to get up there. Throw a spark at them to get their attention. Oh man. This game is so pretty. Well, throwing a portal down, is it when you come in? You come in somewhere where enemies might respawn, which I don't really want to be there. I want that one. Only 500. What was over here was worth 1,000, wasn't it? Oh, it's gone. Classic. Alright. I do like having a new fire cast around. Good times any to play around with things because I need level 8 for a few of them. That being said, everything here is good and solid. I'm probably going to go quit. Might quite go main menu. I think I might just do the whole ta-da. Right. Okay, so really nice for me just having the comfort of having these separate. Just to put them on or off. So, whoa, so fun. I feel like today the lead-in was longer than the actual play, so thanking thee for being here with. Videos can only be better than this one, so maybe some others are worth watching. If that's the case, then at this point of the video there's probably little pop-ups happening. One where might be a playlist, might talk about technicalities of patches and updates, I don't know, my fingers are just pointing around. You have some fun, you click on stuff. Yeah, great day, bye.